And now it's time for Photo Booth Live Chat with John Young. Good evening and welcome to our Wednesday night show here on PBN TV. I'm your host, John Young, and tonight I am joined by one of the creative minds in the photo booth industry. I've got the one and only Danny Max with me. Good evening, Danny.
Good evening. How are you?
I am doing well, doing well. Thanks for jumping on with me tonight.
I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. For those of you who do not know Danny, Danny is the owner of Max Photo Booth Designs, and he's got a lot of very, very cool things we're going to be looking at because I've seen, I met at the Photo Booth Expo. We got to look at some things here again in Chicago and then at DJ Expo. And gang, if you're looking for some really creative ideas that are utilizing some of the technology of today, you gotta stick with us tonight because we've got some really cool things we're going to be looking at. The biggest reason why I wanted to have Danny on is because Danny, when I first started my very first photo booth thing, actually literally took the back end of our expedition to put all the gear in and to get things out there. And it was just this huge monstrosity, you know, the way they've come. And do you see that, people are looking for that, or where are you, when your customers and people are coming to you and saying, hey, I want da-da-da, what direction are you really seeing the trend going towards?
Yeah, so when I first got into photo booths in 2009, just about 10 years ago now, everyone wanted the enclosed booths. They wanted the sit down, the arcade style. That's what everyone wanted. And it has progressed to smaller and smaller and smaller until now we have the handheld roamers and that sort of thing. And it's been a slow process, but it's occurred over probably about the past 10 or 15 years. I actually have a picture. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, please do it. What do you got for us there?
Okay.
There we are. And
there we go.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh.
So that was my first photo booth that I made. I did build these as well. But notice the size. It was a sit-down booth. I mean, you could fit a bunch of people in there, but you needed a van to transport this thing. And it was just really a pain.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really progressed to something quite different. Actually, up top, this was another one of my smaller builds, but still kind of cumbersome and large.
Oh, and in that particular case, I mean, you had your red rope and your the stanchions for that, and then your backdrop and all these different pieces and such. Yeah, we're back to that van.
Yeah,
needing a van for everything. And and as people are getting into this, that what I was hearing around the hallways is that people are looking for. I don't know if it's as much of a quicker setup. I mean, that's certainly part of it. We see that in the Facebook groups. They're talking about that. But that flexibility and portability seems to be such a huge factor that everyone's looking for.
Yeah, not everyone owns a commercial van. Not everyone owns the larger cars. And today's photo booths, especially some of the ones that I manufacture, I mean, they fit in a small case, so it's easy to transport. One of my booths, actually, the Curve Mini, which is behind me on that side over there, it fits in a nice small case. It's under 50 pounds, so you can fly with it. Because a lot of people do actually choose to fly with their photo booths if they're doing a job somewhere else or a corporate activation or that sort of thing. So portability has really just kind of taken over, and it's one of the key things I think people look at when they're looking to get into photo booths is how can I transport this? How large is it? How heavy is it? That sort of thing.
Certainly. And so we'll start with the ones right behind you to look at those a little bit. Now, those particular ones, those are the shells, and when people are looking for you provide the shells, and then they can basically put their pieces in that they want to use.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, there's basically two different kinds of photo booth manufacturers out there. The ones that are turnkey systems that includes all the electronics, cameras, Surface Pro, all that. And then you have the more the I don't want to say DIY side, but it's more of, you do need to build it yourself, but you still have to have the knowledge in order to do it. But I recommend certain gear, but I just don't want to get involved with, charging more for Surface Pro, making a little bit of profit on there. I'd rather just pass the savings along and just say, pick this up. I'll show you how to get it all set up.
Certainly, in many cases, with the iPad or Surface Pro, people may already own those. Why would I need the second one? So you really fit that niche that way. Excellent.
Yeah. As long as you have an iPad that has a decent camera on it, any of the Pros, one of the the 10.5 Air, those actually are great. Great cameras in those, and they provide a really nice photo as long as you have good light.
Yeah. So as I'm looking over your left shoulder, we've got kind of the iPad version, it looks like, and then over your right shoulder is one that would take the DSLR. Take us kind of back there and walk us through what you've got there.
Definitely. I'm going to tilt up the camera just a little.
There we go.
bit.
Yep. Now we can see the top.
There we go.
Perfect.
So this will fit a DSLR camera right up here in the top. There's a Surface Pro that would fit into this section here. And then the key factor that's really important, what separates a DSLR booth from an iPad booth, is the fact that with DSLR booths, you can use a flash. Mm-hmm. So this has your strobe light in there, and it bounces off this bounce card at the top, spreads the light. You don't need to fuss with umbrellas and that sort of thing. Also, what's key with that, really any photo booth, is being able to tilt it. So you can tilt this down. You have someone in a wheelchair, you have kids, someone really tall, even go back. Comes in handy. That's basically the DSLR booth over there.
So now, does the top where you're using it to bounce the flash, that is that folds down and it comes apart for transport?
Oh yeah. This whole thing breaks down and fits in a small SKB case. I'm going to tilt the camera down, and please don't mind the moving boxes on the side. I'm in the process of moving, but small SKB case underneath it. The entire thing fits in.
Excellent. So it even does the printer. It looks like you have a printer shelf behind that one.
Yes,
does that go into that same case then, or is that
has a separate case?
Okay, so that's
that case is a small, about 26-inch wide case.
Okay.
So it's it cuts down on the weight. If everything was in there too, then everything gets a little bit too heavy.
So then, for that particular system, I would have one case that has the main unit, the second case that has the printer stand, a third case that would have the printer itself.
Sure.
And then really, if I'm not doing props, that's pretty much, I'm ready to go. That's my main components.
That's everything right there.
And that's can easily sit in the back seat of a small car of any sort.
Definitely. Now the cases I have, they all have wheels, so you can wheel them. But I also recommend the Rock and Roller carts. Those are great carts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can throw everything on there. They fold down really small. I have one I still use, and it's probably about 20 years old. Still a great cart.
I've got I've had probably 8 of them over the years, and the pneumatic tires, they start to leak air, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I've got 2 of them that have the original hard tires, and they get used every weekend.
Yeah. I have one of the ones that it was still red; it wasn't yellow.
Yeah,
Roll came with the red ones. Yeah, I'm sure you have the same.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those too. Yeah, they're great pieces. Yeah, put new tires on them, they'll be ready to roll.
Absolutely.
So that was the DSLR. Now let's take a look at the iPad version.
Yeah. In essence, it looks the same. The difference is, I'll pan down. The base plate is about 4 inches more narrow, and that way I can fit it into a smaller case.
Okay.
And then the depth of the actual unit up top is a couple inches smaller as well, because you don't need to fit a DSLR camera. You don't need all that space in there. So it's really only, I'll show you, about 4 inches.
Oh, nice.
Wide. Yeah.
Now, the faceplate that you have on there right now, what size of an iPad is that designed for?
That is for a first or second gen 12.9.
Okay, and it can, if I have any of the iPad Pros, I could basically hey Danny, I've got the 9.7, the first really iPad Pro, and you can adjust and do a plate for that.
Yeah, versatility was always big for me. That you can upgrade your system or you can use different things. The DSLR booth will also take an iPad, so you can get a different faceplate. So one day you could use it as a DSLR, the next day you can use it as an iPad.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Very nice. And with the DSLR, all the gear, you can mount the Surface and you can mount the camera and everything stays in there then for transit? transport?
Everything. Yep. No reason to take anything out.
Sweet,
We
sweet.
run a power cable down, printer cable, and that's about it.
So we've talked about a couple of different solutions or options for creating that. What type of a difference in selling? Because you yourself have been running in a photo booth company for a while. When you were selling the enclosed booth compared to kind of more of a standalone or an open system like this, how has the selling been different from one to the other, or has it really been different?
I found that when I first got into it in 2009, everyone wanted the enclosed booth. There was no option really. That's what I had. That's what I offered, and people liked it. And then I branched off into doing the open air style booths because I kept getting questions, people asking for, do you have this style? Can you do this? We don't really like the sit down style. We don't want people making out in the photo booth and doing other things and that.
Yep.
Closed curtains. So, especially when you do school events and that sort of thing too. I ran a rental company. I don't do it anymore, but I ran it, and we did a lot of proms, and virtually none booked the big booth I showed you at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's somewhat surprising. The old traditional. We all grew up in that world, and you'd think that that would still be a big thing, but yeah,
No, not really. They like I said earlier, the size of the booths just keep getting smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm. Setup time for the units behind you. If you're going to be setting those up and striking those, what kind of time would a person kind of envision or should be planning for that?
If you don't mind, I'd like to show you a setup video.
Oh, hey, let's take a look at that. That would be great.
Let me just pull it up on my YouTube. Give me 1 second. Share my screen. Okay. And I'm going to leave the sound off, and I'll kind of talk.
Yeah, please do. Yep.
All good? You can see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Looks great.
Great. Okay. So basically what I'm setting up now is the Curve Mini, which is the one that you saw earlier that I was talking about with the base for the iPad booths.
Mm-hmm.
It all fits in that small SKB case. So you take the base plate. It is weighted. There's actually about 10 pounds of steel sandwiched in there.
Okay.
Provide stability. 2 column sections come out of the case. There's a polycarbonate panel on the front. It's Velcroed on. You just pull that off. Place it on, and if you notice, there's latches on the inside.
Oh.
There's no screws. There's no tools. There's nothing you need that you can lose. Your attendants lose, your Allen key. You show up to an event. What do you do?
Yeah, you're in trouble.
So there's another set of latches here in the center. It just snaps shut like that. And the head unit goes on top, like so, and a third set of these latches. And then those polycarbonate panels just go right back on the front, and you are set up. That was about 1 minute and 14 seconds.
Yeah, very quick. Power. How does the power work with that?
The thing I really like about running an iPad booth is the fact that you don't need to plug in. Everything is battery. Your iPad has a battery.
Mm-hmm.
The light, there's a modeling light in the top of the photo booth that runs on a camcorder F750 battery.
Nice.
The LED lights that are inside are also battery powered. These little coin lights. They're optional. They're not included with the booth, but you can get them.
Mm-hmm.
They're from Ape Labs. But whenever I took an iPad booth out to an event, I would always run everything off battery. You get a cheap little battery pack. You can keep your iPad plugged in the whole time. And you don't have to worry about gaff tape. You don't have to tape down wires. There's no tripping hazards.
Nice, yes.
Basically, you go set it up. So yeah, that setup took 1 minute and 14 seconds. Realistically, by the time you turn on the iPad and all your lights and stuff, maybe 2 minutes. So it's a really quick setup.
Oh, wonderful.
The DSLR booth does take a little bit more time because that does require AC power. So you would need to plug that in. You have to run wires and that sort of thing. And that's one of the reasons a lot of people decided to go with getting an iPad booth just for ease of setup.
Oh, certainly.
A lot less stuff to mess around with.
And I could see times where we have a cocktail in one room, and then we come into this room for the dinner, and then we go over there for the dance. I mean, that happens. There's 3 different venues that I work. This could follow me, where I could have it in there during the cocktail hour, move it in by the dinner time where they can bounce over and do that, and then
sure,
right by the dance.
The thing way is about 26 pounds. So you can pick it up, put it on your shoulder, walk over to the next room if you really wanted to. Of course, you don't want to charge extra for that. You want to do multiple rooms, you got to charge a setup fee and all that, of course. But yeah, you certainly could.
You got to make it look like you're working hard when you're hauling that on your shoulder.
Yeah.
So we've talked about kind of a more stationary solution, a portable solution that can move with you, but you've actually got one more piece. This is the part, the one that I saw at DJ Expo and you showed for the first time, and this was really, really quite cool. You got to pull out the Mobile Max there. That's pretty neat.
Let me grab it. So this right here is the Mobile Max. It is a handheld photo booth. It weighs under 3 pounds. And basically, it does everything that the booth behind me can do. Only thing is, you get to go up and go around to people's tables. You can go on the dance floor. Just noticed I'm out of the shot.
There you go.
Right. Perfect. Okay. It has a ring light around it, and this one has a mirrored faceplate. I'm going to turn the ring light on, but it is bright, so it's probably going to blow out the shot a little bit.
There it is.
But you can see the rainbow pattern. Can actually see it better because there's a glow out the rear.
Yeah, we can see a little bit. Yep.
Yeah. And what's nice is, so this attracts attention. You walk around, people walk up to you. Oh, what is that? Right? And whatever software you choose to use. I don't have any software running on it right now. You would then turn the light to white for the photos. There's a third mode. There's a button that changes between it. So guests can then text and email, and then you can go back to your rainbow pattern. This is really some people ask, can you print with these? Is it the most practical thing? No. Yes, you can print with them. You can set up a wireless print server. But I really like to push this as more as a digital-only experience.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, especially in that realm of the iPad where people know it's or are comfortable with it being a mobile device and sending it through. Now, that particular one that you just showed us, now that is an iPad Pro that was in there, correct?
This is a iPad Pro 11-inch.
Okay, so that's the
newest one.
That's the big one, and you've got the Mobile Max for pretty much all the iPad Pro sizes.
Yeah. So this model right here can fit the 9.7, the 10.5, or the 11-inch of the Pros. It can also fit the 10.5 Air, which is a great option for photo booth use. You don't need crazy processors that the Pros has, and the Air has a really good camera in it.
Nice.
I do have another version. I don't have it with me here, unfortunately. But just picture this and shrink it down.
Yep.
Probably about, not quite half the size, a little bit larger than that, but which fits the new iPad mini. Important thing to note, though, is that you really don't want to use an iPad mini that's older than the newest generation. So 5th gen only, because the other cameras aren't good. But the 5th gen has the same camera that's in here.
And you had that at DJ Expo, and we actually got to touch that and feel it. Just that small, compact size was so impressive for those times where you may have. I was actually, when I saw that, I was thinking, okay, so you have really the main. Maybe you put the main iPad booth, and that's over in a corner. But then having that small, quick to go and pop, for a few photos. What a great idea with this.
Well, think about the upsell opportunity.
Exactly.
Clients, right? Because you have your DSLR booth, you have an iPad booth, set up stationary somewhere, but then you can book this out hourly. So you add this on for $200-300 an hour, and you're instantly making more money. Your attendant that's there already is one running it, or say you're a DJ, you have your roadie doing it.
Yeah,
it's a great way to add profit.
Certainly add profit and to keep your roadie from getting
bored or getting into trouble. Right?
What a great idea. Dan, you got some really cool stuff. For people who want to check things out on the website, where can they go to check things out? I'm going to add that to the...
Sure. Yeah.
Make sure I add this to the description. I didn't have it there. What's the URL?
It is Max, maxpbdesign.com.
maxpbdesign.com. Okay.
I have a couple other URLs, so if you misspell it, it'll probably redirect to my website.
I know how that is. That should be showing up in the chats on all of the videos. You guys can check the chat, and we'll be putting that into the description here, so you guys can check it out there. So,
Fantastic.
Nice. So we'll be seeing you next at Photo Booth Expo in February.
Well, you will be seeing me there, but I'm also going to be at Wedding MBA.
Of Wedding
which
MBA,
is
so
in
it's just a couple of
2
weeks.
And then I'll be at a mobile DJ meetup in November. And who knows what other shows I do. I like to do a lot of shows.
I guess I will be seeing you a few times before the
Yeah.
van. So
If there's one other thing I would like to just mention real quick.
yep, I was just going to say if I think we hit most of the big ones, but is there anything else we want to make sure we hit before?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're talking about portability.
Mm-hmm.
And with photo booth rentals, typically there's a scrapbook or a guest book.
Yeah.
And, you have to bring your paper, you have to bring your albums, you have to bring your stickers, your pens, your glue, all that stuff. Then you have to worry about Aunt Sue doing the book and then spill her red wine on the book, right? It's always things like that. So one of the things I've been in development for over the course of about the past year is a digital guest book.
Okay.
So basically it takes what you imagine as your guest book, where people would write messages, put stickers, and the whole thing, and do it in a digital format on an iPad so they can get digital copies of it. I have a little video
Yeah.
that I would love to show you guys.
Yeah, pop that up.
Share my screen again. Nope, wrong one. There we go, and let me start it over. So this is basically the interface. This was a V1 of the app.
Mm-hmm.
But the photos that are taken in the photo booth, they get transferred over to the iPad. Your guests can then take a pen. They can write messages. Talk about portability, because I know that the theme of this, show tonight was portability.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing all that stuff with you, just bring an iPad. That's all you need. So we're writing a little message.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put some stickers and emojis. So it's a neat little app, and I just wanted to share that because, again, the theme was portability.
Yeah.
And this just makes anything that can make your life easier and increase profits is, obviously a great thing.
So now is that an app then that you have designed it?
Correct. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's an app. I do have a partner with the app, and we've been working on it for about a year now. We've been in beta. We have a ton of beta testers out there that are using the app, loving it, and full release hopefully 1 to 2 months.
Nice. So we'll probably might see a little teaser of it at the DJ meetup in November.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It'll be there. I'll be demoing it.
Okay.
Because we do have a fully functional version, but the version 2 that's actually going to be a full release is pretty exciting.
And that we'll be seeing that probably then after the first of the year. Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice. Great stuff. Once again, go to Max PB Designs or Design. Actually, I did Designs and it went there too. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
as
it will,
you said,
'cause I bought that domain.
You bought that domain too, but maxpbdesign.com. You guys can check out the different options and such there. You've got a cart. Looks like you got a shopping cart system there. So if a person wants to do that, or if they want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that, Danny?
So I make myself readily available to everyone that wants to chat. The phone number listed on the website is my cell phone. Goes
Okay.
right to my cell phone. You can email me. Please send me a Facebook friend request. Shoot me a messenger, message. There's so many different ways to get a hold of me. I'll give you my phone number now if you'd like.
It's on the website. Let's just leave it there. I mean, in case this is watched in 2 years and you've changed your cell for the number.
That is a very good point.
So, you guys can go to the website, again, maxpbdesign.com and check things out. Danny, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you much for being on tonight, and I look forward to seeing you. I guess I'll see you in November.
I'll see you in a couple weeks. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
You bet. Thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next Monday night where we come back with our photo booth chat. Good night, everybody.